warm welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome back to the DDMM YouTube channel for part 2 of the 2025-2026 season of the Club 100 iRacing Championship. We've had a new circuit tonight, OSCHERSLEBEN in Germany. It's a fully free night for the drivers with the MX-5s in action as well. Interesting round this. This will be the 7th round. It brings everybody up to, if they've done the full season, up to a full championship score from here on in. After tonight, it'll be a case of them looking to improve their scores for the remainder of the season. The good news is I am not alone tonight, so any post-Christmas ring rust will be rubbed off and ably assisted by Reeve Taylor. Reeve, we're back on it. 2026 is here. First comms of the year, back with the Club 100 iRacing Championship. You're a man who's been to Germany many a time. What do you think of this OSCHERSLEBEN circuit?
It is a fantastic venue. Actually, only the one visit for myself so far, but got some more coming up with some competitors this evening in both April and September. So looking forward to that. But yeah, fantastic circuit here at OSCHERSLEBEN. Pretty long, some nice parts of the track where you can get some decent high speeds up, but also some really technical stuff, especially in that first kind of half lap as well. I think the run through McDonald's, which is a fabulous corner name, of course. With some tricky track limit zones which will tempt some drivers towards that gravel, because it's a track with gravel, which always means it's good.
The good news as well is no one's going to be taken into a dark room and beaten. If you know, you know. We're running the proper layout tonight with a nice smooth run through through turns 1 and 2. Right, so we've got about less than 7 minutes away from the qualifying starting. Just a quick rundown to get us back up to speed. It's an MX-5 night, so it's 3 25-minute races. Each of them worth up to 80 championship points apiece. So it's still a 240 score for a perfect night. The grid for race 1 is determined by lone timed qualifying, which gets underway at the bottom of the hour. Everyone will have 2 flying laps in the space of 10 minutes to set themselves or where they're going to be on the grid for tonight. Conditions dry, overcast. There was a little bit of a question mark over whether there'd be some rain this evening in the lobby. Not to be the case. It's actually starting to brighten up. It was quite grey and gloomy at the start of free practice at 6 p.m. UK time, 11 o'clock a.m. in the lobby. But yeah, it should be good conditions for the drivers tonight. Right, let's have a look at championship situation, because it is that stage of the year now where it gets a little bit serious. Matt Swain could, in theory, win the championship tonight. The neutrals amongst us, no offence, Matt, hope he doesn't, because we want this one to go on and on through the season. But it really is on the other Premier drivers to get a good score in tonight, which is possible based off what we saw at Portimao when Tom Roberts took his first round victory of the season. Should note as well, Max Andrews has been very strong in the MX-5s. Needs to continue that form going into tonight. As you can see, that gap is at the moment, what is that? That's about 160 points between the two of them at the moment. Ronald Grossman third at the moment. Ronald hasn't. That's probably not a fair reflection of his score or his talents at the moment. That score of 957. So expect him to come up the order a bit. Similarly, Axel Slijepcevic down on 690. Expecting him to come up through the order. Clubman is very intriguing. No driver has really had the form through the whole season. Excuse me. 953 points at the moment is the top Clubman score. That's with Tom Saunders in 4th place overall. Sam Spinale, his heroics at Portimao have really thrust him back into the Clubman title picture on 848. Cam Watson and Jack Eyre still there as well. And keep an eye on the likes of Andy Alston and Murray Adams. Murray Adams has been very strong the last couple of rounds and was particularly strong the last time out in the MX-5s at Zolder. Intermediate, Matthew Shawnee, little bit of a chink in the armour last time out at Portimao in the GT3s. But he still has the championship lead amongst those. The gentleman drivers, good amount of experience in that intermediate class, but very much the gentleman part-time drivers, shall we say, not the absolute aliens that we see in Premier and Clubman. But he does have the championship lead at the moment in intermediates, ahead of David Whitehouse, who's been having a tremendous season so far, getting stronger at every opportunity. But if we go down to page 2, John Adey did take his first intermediate night victory last time out at Portimao, so he's not out of it. Rookie as well is still up for grabs. 5:11 is the score to beat at the moment in the hands of Daniel Cook, Colin Ward, Sean Patterson and Simon Delamere nicely positioned in that as well. Remember the prizes, of course, the top 3 categories. The driver who wins each of those gets a free race day courtesy of Club 100 in 2026 in either the SP40 North competition or in the Club 100 Experience. And of course we've got a prize pot of, I want to say, about $500 US, iRacing dollars, up for grabs across all 4 categories. I think that pretty much brings us up to date, Reeve. And well, what we can say at the moment in terms of the times from free practice, Matt Swain fastest of the Premiers by not a lot, 0.06 of a second between Matt Swain and Max Andrews. Sam Spinell fastest of the Clubmans ahead of Tom Saunders. Of the intermediates racing tonight, Ollie Walker does not take part tonight, is serving a licence suspension for accumulating higher than the threshold of points across the course of the last 12 months. So Matthew, if you're looking at the live timings, Matthew Shawnee is actually your fastest intermediate tonight in the free practice session. John Adey second, James Fremont in third. And don't count out James. James didn't do the first 2 rounds of the season, so he's another one of those slightly out of position in terms of the championship scores. Daniel Cook fastest of the rookies at the moment on a 1:39.09. Asan Iqbal and Eric Mignon also looking pretty competitive in the development class there. 2 minutes to go then, Reeve. Can I get a prediction out of you? Who do you think is going to be on pole position here across this 10-minute session?
Oh, now that is a tricky question. You mentioned there we've got a few drivers in Prem's. Max Andrews could be looking like he's going to be pretty handy in the MX-5 here this evening. So I'll put a vote in for Max Andrews, I think.
There we go. So I'll say Max Andrews has been very, very competitive across the course of the season, but particularly in the MX-5s. And yeah, 0.058 of a second was the gap between himself and Matt Swain. Track conditions have cleared up a bit. It's warmed up a bit out there as well. I wonder if we were actually touching up into 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It was due to be around 67. But the warmer the better. Should note as well, slight setup change, I should say, for the MX-5s tonight. The drivers using all the same setup, but they're using the advanced.sto as the base, with the fuel then tweaked to be as fast as possible across the course of these 25-minute races. That has been done, hopefully just to help the drivers a little bit. It's the closest thing that we can really do to, changing tyres. If we can't change the tyre, we'll change how it's used to get a bit more heat into it earlier on in the race, because we have seen some of the races so far this year in the MX-5s be a little bit chaotic in those early stages. Keep your comments coming in as well. In fact, I've not checked the comments so far tonight. But hello to David Whitehouse. Happy New Year. Hello, everyone. Please don't rub each other's rust off.
I was going to say, it's an interesting way to introduce me to this year, Andrew, but by all means, continue on.
This is the second faux pas that I've made this year. If you were at the Club 100 Awards the other night, actually, no, it's the third faux pas I've made this year. It was a good night on Saturday. Anyway, right, I think that is the checkered flag out. It is indeed for the end of free practice. Practice goes in the bin. 1:37.7 was the best lap time in that session, but should just note, I think the track, maybe drivers going for race runs as well, I should say, but lap times typically in the mid 1:38s at the end of that session on the last laps. Right, let's go in the search of some drivers then. Sam Sanders, going to be interesting to see how Sam gets on tonight. Reeve, he looked like he'd got into a good rhythm last time out at Portimao, and he's had some good results as well in the MX-5s. The last couple of appearances at Knock Hill and Zolder.
Yeah, it will be fascinating to see what he can do as we see him now beginning that aggressive tyre warm-up on our screens at the moment. I think you mentioned, Andrew, the changes to how the tyres maintain the temperature will be important for a track like this, because apart from the end of the lap, overall, the corner speeds are pretty low, and they're often separated out by a decent straight, so that just gives the tyres ample opportunity to cool back down. So especially in these shorter qualifying stints, it's all going to be about getting that, keeping the temp in the tyres.
Keep an eye on those names running across the bottom of your screen. That'll keep you up to date with how people are getting on. If this is the first time you've been watching one of these qualifying sessions, essentially everyone's in their own little bubble parallel universe. Very easily gets rid of any complaints about traffic and people blocking and getting in the way. Everyone is within their own little bit of the world, on track by themselves. No opportunities to get slipstreams. It's all just about getting the lap times in. Atty Cooper on your screens. Atty has been having a really good go of things through the course of this season so far. He's one of our youngest drivers in this competition, and racing with the Motorsport woman livery on there as well. Hello to Kira Boylan. I don't think Kira was able to be with us tonight. Was not able to get the updates done quite in time, and there was of course quite a hefty update done to iRacing since we last raced at Portimao before the Christmas break. We are into the first season of 2026. Let's try and find some drivers putting in fast sector times then. Sam Spinell has had some very good qualifying performances recently, Reeve, particularly that one last time out in the MX-5s at Zolder, where a little bit of luck here and there could well have been on overall pole position that night.
Yeah, hopefully continuing that momentum on then as he heads through those long drawn out S's at the first phase of the lap. Looking pretty comfortable at the moment. 7 minutes to go in this session, so it's good to get these banker laps in early on before you go for another push further on. This qualifying session layout does remove the added jeopardy of what other drivers are doing or any potential issues out on track, but still, you never know. One messed up corner, a little bit of track limits here or there on a later attempt. It is important to still get a nice, comfortable banker in so that you can head into the later part of the session with a bit more confidence. We Sam looking pretty confident there, up onto two wheels almost. In fact, more than onto two wheels. He very clearly was on two wheels, and heads further into the lap here at OSCHERSLEBEN.
Yeah, it does indeed. Let's have a cash in with Tom Roberts, winner last time out. A race win and a second place across the two 40-minute displays in the GT3s at Portimao. Can he do a similar kind of job here tonight in the MX-5s across the three race format? Sam Sanders has gone in with 1 minute 39.003. Max Andrews to the top of the timesheets of 138.7. What is this going to be for Roberts over the line? Provisional pole, 138.544. Very nice work indeed from the winner in Portugal. Matt Swain is on a lap as well. Matt Swain would very much like a solid qualifying here to get himself into a strong position. Remember, he can win the championship tonight. We'll keep you up to date with how that's all shaking out. Axel Slijepcevic has gone up to second place as well, with just under a tenth and a half off of Roberts. I'm just looking here, actually. I think Matt Swain might have had his first flying lap deleted because I was expecting to see a lap time through from him at this stage, and I'm not seeing one. That's an interesting development there, Reeve. And we did see mistakes from Matt Swain last time out at Portugal. It was the first time that we saw almost a little bit of human-esque mistakes from the championship leader.
Yeah, as we head further into the season, they can begin to creep in. The pressure builds almost. You're doing very well in the championship. Each race still very important, especially when we're at this phase of the season where it's all looking a bit up in the air at the moment for quite a few drivers. Still got a couple of MX-5 rounds. In fact, we've got one more MX-5 round to go after this one. Still plenty to play for.
Indeed.
Overall.
Swain comes over the line, goes for he goes pole, 134.38.4. I thought he'd missed out there, but Max Andrews has taken it back. Max Andrews has snatched back pole position. Now, what has Tom Roberts done? Tom Roberts out of the final corner. Can he take P1 back off the top 2 in the championship? Adam Brown's shot up to second place. Brilliant qualifying from the Scotsman. Axel Slievcevic is on a very quick lap as well. Where does Axel go to? He goes to pole. 138.339. Axel Slievcevic is not done in this championship. He's had some up days. He's had some very down days so far. He knows he has to pretty much go perfect through the rest of the season to still stand a reasonable chance of winning this thing. Well, that'll do. Pole position here at OSCHERSLEBEN, and it's pole position as well in Clubman for Sam Spinale. That's just coming over our line here. Who else is still out on a lap? I think Matt Shawnee is still out on a lap, potentially to take things in intermediate. James de Howland goes up to P8 on his first MX5 race in quite a while. Made his championship return at Portimao just before Christmas. Shawnee goes P7. That is a tremendous run from the intermediate points leader. Could that be a moment we look back on in a few months' time? Andy Alston's still out there as well on 2 personal bests through the first 2 sectors. Can Andy Alston, who needs a big result here, needs to get a bit of momentum going in the Clubman Stakes. He goes to, well, it's going to be about 1.5. Oh, down in 19th place. That's not where you would have expected Alston to be. John Adey over the line. I think John Adey stays in P21. I think that's going to be it. Reeve for the dramatic ones. David Whitehouse is still out there yet to put a lap in, but what a performance from Axel Slievcevic.
Yeah, starting to see some really big progression from a few of our drivers here, but Shawnee, as we mentioned just a moment ago, really cementing his position in that intermediate championship now. He's already got a pretty comfortable points margin. Things are looking a little bit better as Whitehouse comes across the line there, 140.17 in his intermediate run, as we go on board with a halted Grossman by the looks of things.
It was indeed. I think David Whitehouse has done his laps as well. Just looking to see, because it's a dry qualifying, I think we're going to finish a couple of minutes early here. Matt Hale has completed his laps. No, I don't think we've got anybody still yet to get a lap in over the line. So this is going to be Slievcevic on pole. Andrews second. Great qualifying as well from Adam Brown. There are still a couple of minutes to go in the session before these positions are 100% confirmed. What other stories should we note? Tom Saunders second in the Clubman Stakes. In fact, whilst we've got the time, let's try and do this by class. The points are still, of course, by overall position. But yeah, if we go to the class situation there in Clubman, Spinell from Saunders, Adams, Watson, Vines, Ellis, Hale, Eyre and Alston. The majority of that group from Adams down, all in the 12th through to 19th range of positions. Shawnee, I've got to say, Matthew Shawnee has thoroughly impressed me this year. There may be some people asking, well, why is Matthew Shawnee not a Clubman? He was a rookie last year, so this is still only his first season as an intermediate, but he is performing his socks off, well, this could be another step towards the title in intermediate, another step towards the Club 100 prize drive, and surely a step towards the Clubman category in future seasons. John Adey, David Whitehouse, James Fremont and Matt Hale, the rest of the other intermediates to qualify in that one. Craig Brown did not run in that session. Should note as well, Joao Gabriel Castro did not run in the session. Also Tom Holland and Kira Boylan. I think Kira has made it. So Kira has made it into the session. That is good news. Talking of the rookies, Daniel Cook will be on pole position within that class, 18th overall. Sean Patterson, decent run there. Eric Mignon, Iqbal Delamere and Cooper. Key for Cook, no Colin Ward here tonight. So that is going to be an opportunity for Daniel to really get a march on one of his closest class title rivals. Right, let's have a look at a full grid. So this is how they're going to line up in overall position. Slijepcevic and Andrews on the front row, Brown and Swain row 2. Roberts and Spinell will go from the next row of the grid, row 3. Shawnee, brilliant qualifying again, top intermediate. We'll start from row 4 alongside Tom Saunders. James de Howland and Ronald Grossman complete the top 10. Sam Sanders will start on the 6th row of the grid alongside Murray Adams. Running down to the 7th row of the grid. This is where you've got the main group of clubmans. Watson and Vines on row 7. Ellis and Binter Hale on row 8. Eyre and Cook row 9. Alston and Patterson on row 10. Ady and Mignon will go from row 11. Iqbal and Whitehouse will go from row 12. And then wrapping up the rest of the field, it will be James Fremont, Simon Delamere, Matt Hale, Athena Cooper, João Castro. Ollie Walker will not take part in this race. Tom Holland, Kira Boylan and Craig Brown. So 32 drivers in total for this one. Round 7 of the 2025-2026 season of the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Sounds like we are pretty close to getting going. Can Axel Slijepcevic take a race win? He's been in this position before, started the season very well at Navarra. We've got a few more seconds to go, Reeve, before we get this race underway.
All-important race start then before we run into the hotel. Let's see who wins out in front. A big lineup on that front row. Slijepcevic versus Andrews. This is going to be an interesting one.
It is indeed. I think we've just got a few more seconds to go. Indeed, yeah, the lights are going to be on in a few moments' time. There'll be 5 of them. When they extinguish, we'll be racing and OSCHERSLEBEN for the first time in the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Away we go then. Slijepcevic gets a good start. Andrews immediately slots in behind, defends his P2 position. Then it's the 2 Rethink Racing cars immediately behind of Brown and Swain into the hotel complex. Looking pretty good so far at the front of the field. Looking good through the second half of the field as well, although I think Ronald Grossman's had a problem. He's falling down the order in the early stages. There he is, the number 90 core machine. In trouble then straight away. Let's have a look at how that happened. Well, that was the back end of the incident. But that is one of the championship contenders in trouble early on. Meanwhile, back at the front of the order. Oh, big spin there. Was that Atty Cooper going off the road? Possibly so. Yes, it was. But Slijepcevic, nice and calm at the front of the field at the moment, Reeve, using his experience to his advantage.
Exactly, has dusted off a couple of overtake attempts from Andrews in the first few corners of this first phase of the race, but is, as you say, looking very composed at the moment. If anything, Brown is going to be the nearest contender to Andrews as Max begins to get Adam just begins to get a little bit closer to the Mazda in a second. Watching further back as well, plenty going on in that mid-pack. Tom Roberts was side by side with Sam Spinell for a number of corners on this first lap, has managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction as we see dust being kicked up in the background from some antics in the mid-pack. But we watched Slijepcevic head round and back on to the start-finish straight.
There's been some problems out there on that first lap. Sean Patterson has had a moment. Let's have a look at what happened here to the rookie. That's all looking pretty good up to that point. As down the inside, João Gabriel Castro, contact between the two. So that was quite early on in the lap that Sean Patterson got turned around there. There's Ronald Grossman going through the shot. Athena Cooper had the problem as well that we noted. She's gone to the pits. But back with Slijepcevic, close group this. Look at Tom Roberts there at the back of this group of 5. Ran a little bit wide as they come through the infield. And looks like Sam Sanders had a... Sorry, Louis, I think Sam Sanders has had a problem as well. I'm seeing Sam Sanders has jumped to the pits. What has happened here for Sam Sanders? Now, this was down into the hotel complex. Oh, just gets it all wrong. Snap of oversteer, runs out wide. Is he going to meet the wall? No, I don't think he is. Well, he's not hit anything. I'm a bit surprised that that Sam has jumped back to the pits in that situation. I wonder is that a technical problem with his gear? Because, as I say, he's not hit any part of the track furniture. He's not hit a barrier. So there will be no damage on the car, which would be the normal reason to jump back to the pits and press ESC. That's a real shame for Sam Sanders. Out of contention in this one. Oh, massive snap. And that's Adam Brown going round. Now, did that catch out his teammate Matt Swain? Yes, I think it did. Adam Brown gets going again. Oh, what a dramatic moment that was, Reeve.
Absolutely, he's not lost all that much time given the speed at which he went off and where he went off on track, but that is still disaster in this race for Adam Brown. It will be a recovery drive to the end of this 25-minute sprint now, as he now has a few midfielders to contend with as he tries to work his way back up the order, but that could have been actually a much bigger incident, I think, so he did well to get the car back on track, back underway with minimal damage. Yeah,
he did indeed, and we'll try and cue a replay of that one up to see what happened there. That was a really, really strange one. It was out of the final corner. I think he just dropped it on the curb, and I tell you what, Matt Swain has done very, very well there to not get involved in that one. That was a scary, scary looking moment. We'll just try and see if we can have a look at this one from the perspective of Swain. Let's cue it up once again. This was the view on board sorry, that's the look on board with Adam Brown going round. We'll press the button again, see if we can get it right this time. This was the view on board with Matt Swain. My goodness me, that could have been night over for Matt Swain, but he's still there in the mix. It's only dropped to 5th place, Reeve.
He has indeed, so he continues on unaffected pretty much after that incident. Speaking of unaffected, Sliakovic we're on board with at the moment. He's in a much more peaceful world, isn't he? Just leading this race, not by the world's biggest margin, in fact not by much of a margin at all as we head in to the hotel right-hander now, but is looking cool, calm and collected, I'd say, out at the front end of this pack.
Well, it's in the self-interest of both Sliakovic and Andrews to work together at this point. This is a big opportunity for them as Max Andrews has a look down the inside through the hairpin there. But they're not going to get many opportunities like this. Yes, Swain is still in this race. He's outside the top 3 at the moment. There could be some big points being swung here to the advantage of Sliakovic and Andrews. Yes, they've got to get on with it. They've got to score points pretty quickly, but at the same time, there's still a lot of racing to go. You've still got the best part of 4 rounds remaining in this championship to claw back their current disadvantages. Max Andrews throwing the car around quite a bit here. And as we ride on board now with Axel Sliakovic, I think there's been a problem out there for Andy Alston and João Castro. See them both are out of this race. Let's have a look then of what happened with João Castro. That was him going into the wall. That was Andy Alston then reappearing. I wonder if there's been some connection issues there. That was another sight of Andy Alston into the wall. It's a bit of a strange one. Let's try and find a better shot of that. This one might give us a bit more of a picture of what's happening. The two of them got locked together. And then João disappeared, and then reappeared, and then disappeared, and reappeared again. I wonder if that's more of a bit of an internet issue. I don't like that reversing there from Alston back onto the track, but that's how both of those drivers are now out of this race. So another couple fall by the wayside. Meanwhile, Reeve back with our front runners. Looking like a good trio working together here are Sliakovic, Andrews and Roberts.
Yeah, absolutely. I was beginning to ponder. We saw just how much Andrew is pushing on and getting poised for battle, whether or not they were going to start to potentially compromise himself against Roberts. Roberts does, or at least, or in fact, still holds the fastest lap of the race so far. He did improve upon it, but that was with a track limits violation as well, so that won't be recorded as an official time. But Tom Roberts certainly closing up the gap, and as you mentioned, Andrew, this trio quite comfortably staying ahead of the upper midfield, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this battle develops when they pick their moment, because these races, they're not a full endurance, they're also not a tiny sprint. Still 17 minutes to go. Got to pick your moment to have that battle at some point.
Indeed. Just looking through other incidents out there. I think Matt Hale had a bit of an issue. Matt Hale, one of the most appearances in the series. Just on the transition there through the hotel chicane. Very easy to do. But Matt will get back on the circuit. He's currently running in 26th position. Meanwhile,
do want to give a big shout out, by the way, to Aidan in the comments, who is supporting the Max class. Don't know which Max he's supporting, but he's supporting a Max.
I think we've only got one Max, being the driver in second place.
Of course we do. We've got plenty of Mats, but we've got a Max.
We've got a lot
well.
of Mats, yeah. We've got a few Mats, but there's only one Max in this division, and right now they're sat there in second place. Interesting there, I think Andy Alston's come back out on circuit and is immediately behind the top three. Could that be a help to another of the Rethink Racing fraternity? Because it does look like Matt Swain has got through and into fourth place. We'll try and find that overtake for you. In fact, here it was. So this was a few moments ago. This is going into the infield. In fact, no, this is into the turn 9 chicane, isn't it? That's a beautiful move from Matt Swain. Past Sam Spinell. Looks like Tom Saunders has also, in recent moments, got through. So Spinell down to 6th place overall, second in class. But Swain on the move again, looking to close in on this top three.
Certainly is beginning to make a difference as well. So Jepsevich and Andrews probably now deciding, go on then, now's the time to have that fight. It's now or never realistically. I think Andrew's probably saying, I'm the quicker driver here, get me out in front and we can have a bit of a safer run towards the top end of this podium. We go back and forth with Swain as we head on to the start-finish straight now. We can still see a decent gap between them, but the drivers are beginning to close up. Let's see what the time is looking like. It comes across the line there at 38.35, so Swain found another 10th on that last lap. He is still pushing on and closing up as best he can. Compared to his rivals, is a good few tenths quicker on that last lap as well. So things certainly hotting up in this front end battle. Originally a battling duo, now it's becoming a battling quartet.
Yeah, it is indeed. Just noting as well, I think Max Andrews is having another little look there at the rear of Axel Slijepcevic. Slijepcevic turns in a little bit earlier than Max Andrews, so isn't defending overly hard there. They have got some traffic up ahead of them. I think it's going to be Joao Castro, who's back out on circuit. The driver who's done a lot of racing in the British Kart Championships for the Praga branded IPK UK team efforts. Racing there in the 121. There's another driver not too far ahead as well. It's going to be Atty Cooper. So yeah, Atty Cooper in the 316. Change not for position, but change in terms of track position as look at this fight going on for 5th place. Spinell and Saunders. This is for the lead in the clubman category. Saunders does very nicely indeed there to keep ahead of the Belgian. Spinell down the inside. This is good racing between these two, and it's going to continue. Little bit of door-to-door. That's fine. Both of them giving each other sufficient room. Spinell's not going to have this position yet, though, because now the long run down towards turn 1. Oh, they bump wing mirrors again there, right in front of Andy Alston. This is really entertaining stuff. They've been side by side for pretty much 5 or 6 corners. I think this time perhaps Saunders is going to get his nose back ahead, but maybe not. He's going to have to give Spinell room on the inside. Eventually, Sam Spinell will get position. That was fantastic.
That was indeed. I don't think this battle is going to be quite over yet. I don't think we've seen the last of it, as we see Saunders having a look around the outside there. Spinell defending that inside. Just look at how much speed Saunders was able to carry around the outside. Now all of a sudden he's right attached to his differential once again is being a bit of a attractive age, shall we say, on the back end of the MX-5 in front of him, and is going to remain in P6 for the time being. Bounces over the curbs. His car looking a little bit worse for wear somehow on this seemingly wide start-finish straight. They did find an opportunity to bring 2 little MX-5s together, nonetheless. Still some great racing.
It is indeed. They have lost a lot of time, though, unsurprisingly, to the top 4. So the top 4 premiers are gone now. That's good news, I think, if you're in the Matt Swain camp, because just a little bit more breathing room now ahead of the rest of the field. And in fact, Matt Swain is starting to catch up to. Apologies, I thought he was catching up to Tom Roberts there. He's actually just catching up to the back marker, Atty Cooper. So there's still a bit of a gap. There's still a bit of work to do for the championship leader. Let's take a look down the classes. How's Matthew Shawnee getting on? Well, at the moment, leading in intermediate, 14th place overall. Remember, the points for the drivers are given by their overall position. So if you can be in one of the lower classes, high up the order, clear of the rest of your competitors, you can turn quite a lot of points over on your rivals. The second of the intermediate drivers at the moment is his stablemate, his teammate John Adey. That's the one with the slight reverse of the one's orange and blue, and the other's blue and orange, is how I like to describe them. Or you could just do it like a normal person and do it by numbers of Shawnee's 214 and Adey's 221. But right now, 3 positions between the two of them right now. David Whitehouse, third of the intermediate drivers. Yeah, that's how they're getting on there. Who's your biggest mover in this race, if you were asking that question? It's a tie at the moment between Tom Holland. Here is Tom in the Warwick Motorsport livery. Very good night for Warwick Motorsport graduates. Many a trophy handed out to some of their drivers from BUKC teams in years gone by. In fact, in SP40 lightweight South, they took all 3, with Alistair Irvin the champion, Jean Samu the runner-up, and Jake Palmer in 3rd place. That was deeply rude from Jake Palmer, because he's pretty good as a commentator and as a driver as well, which is, as we know, Reeve, is strictly against the commentator's code. You can't be good at commentary and be good at driving. That's not fair.
That is absolutely correct. I can attest to that statement there.
But Tom doing a good job at the moment. Has just lost one of his 8 gained positions, so now in a clear lead of the stakes of moving up the order. Craig Brown is now your biggest mover, up 8 positions in this race. Quick look into rookies as well. Daniel Cook, 16th place. Just pick him out there in the 322. So that's kind of the Gulf coloured car, the blue and the orange. Quite importantly, 5 places clear of the next rookie. So right now, Daniel Cook would be extending his lead in the championship once again. So really big scrap going on directly ahead though. Not between 2 intermediates. Yusuf, if you're watching this later, your roll cage is illegal, son. Get it blue for next time at Virginia International Raceway, please. Yeah, that's Yusuf Bin Sahel going through past Matthew Shawnee for 14th place, Reeve.
That is indeed nice to see Yusuf back on our screens, and at least one Formula, but hopefully I'll see him at some point in the near future as well. 8 minutes to go in this race now, and Shawnee, who impressed us in qualifying, continuing to impress in the intermediate running, challenging those clubmans at the moment, and looking like he'll be on for a continued success campaign here this season.
Change in the lead for the clubman class once again, and I think this is another one that's gone back and forth. Apologies, no, that was earlier on. There's been another overtake between the two of them. Apologies, I've lost it again, but I can tell you for sure that Sam Spinell is now ahead of Tom Saunders. So, in fact, no. Now my brain's re-engaged. Sorry, this is the first one of 2026, folks. No, Spinell had won out in that battle, didn't he, earlier on? So ignore everything that I've just tried to say in the last 25 seconds, folks. There hasn't been a change for the clubman lead. It's exactly as it was at the end of that great battle that we saw earlier on. Just to note, I saw a new livery coming through there. That's James de Havilland with the 57. Was a clubman last year, made his return to the series at Portimao. Clearly hasn't lost any of his speed in the MX-5s as well. Keep your comments coming in. Hello to Sky, cheering on Matt Swain. Oh, side by side there once again. Saunders and Spinell. I think that was that a bit of a mistake there from Spinell. James de Havilland disappears and reappears for a moment. This is a properly good scrap for the top position in Club. And I tell you what, Cam Watson isn't out of this as well. Cameron Watson's going to have a great view of this down the pit straight towards the hotel complex, Reeve.
He is indeed. Cam and James are going to be in their own sort of mirror battle of what's going on directly in front of us. We head into the hotel corner there and get a little bit shaky on the back end for the two clubmans out in front. There we can see Spinell get a car out in front, maintains the lead of this battle for the time being. Although we are going to see that Saunders is going to try and claw it back around the outside. There is potentially a little bit of contact. They managed to avoid each other somehow. De Havilland gets out in front of Watson. The question is for how long? This is now also bringing in Murray Adams, Adam Brown and Lawrence Vines into the mix. Well, what a drive for recovery it has been for Adam Brown so far, by the way. And it is still going to be Spinell ahead of Saunders as we head further into the lap.
Do indeed. It's just James's. James. Oh, it's through. There comes Cameron Watson. Hello, Cameron. Straight through. Whether James de Havilland likes it or not, that is very bold stuff indeed. As off the road goes James de Havilland. I wonder if again he's just having a few connection issues. He's completely disappeared off of our system right now. Where's he gone? Well, that's Adam Brown.
I can see him just behind.
Yes.
There he is. Yeah. It was an unfortunate kind of moment where the rear axle just looked to kind of give up on him in a split second. You're more familiar with the world of iRacing than myself, so if that, you might know whether that looked like a connection drop issue, whether that was just a bit of a unenforced moment, unfortunately, or perhaps an enforced one as well.
Yes, I'm just trying. There we go. This is the better view of it. It does have a car on the inside.
Oh.
Hard to tell from that angle whether there was a touch involved there, but either way, down the order goes James de Havilland. Not what he would have wanted at all. So, we're into 20 minutes of this race have already gone. Less than 5 of it to go. Slijepcevic leads from a change in second place. Now, I think that one is pretty recent. When did we see Tom Roberts getting through past Max Andrews? That's another good piece of news if you are of a Matt Swain disposition, because that's another couple of points off the closest adversary to the championship leader as things stand. So Slijepcevic from Roberts, from Andrews, from Swain. 1, 2, 3, 4 premiers locking out those positions at the moment. Spinell still leading in Clubman, ahead of Saunders, Watson, Murray Adams, who's nicely worked his way back up the order as well. I think it was Murray Adams who we saw in close proximity with James de Havilland a few moments ago. Credit to Adam Brown as well, I think, in this race. Reeve had that really scary moment as Roberts runs a bit wide. This could be Andrews' opportunity. No, thinks better of it into turn 13. Bit wide there from Slijepcevic. I think some of them are starting to use their off-tracks. Remember, everyone has 17 incident points to use in one of these 25-minute races before they get a drive-through penalty, and then it's a further 10 before they pick up something a bit more severe. But no, to just go back to Adam Brown, fair play, back up to 8th place. Could be more here as he's fighting with Cam Watson after that scary moment in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, it has been a really impressive recovery for Adam Brown so far, and that's going to spur him on and give him that bit of extra confidence as we head into the upcoming race events. As we see Slijepcevic still, sorry, that's not Slijepcevic at all. My liveries, I should add, if I ever just start talking about a random driver, my liveries look very different to what you're seeing on your screen. So Adam Brown now lets through Murray Adams down on the inside there. Murray Adams heads up into 8th position there, but that battle's still not over yet. That's Cameron Watson, apologies. As I say, liveries all looking very different for me at the moment.
Yeah, this is going to get a little bit rough and tumble out there between Watson and Brown. As the panel hammer's going to be out between the first and second races here tonight. But yes, indeed, through goes Cameron Watson, takes himself back up into 7th place. What a heck of a move from Adam Brown. I should just note that we saw into turn 1. Here is your race leader, who so far in this one has looked pretty unfazed. This has been Axel Slijepcevic back into that kind of mode that we've seen him taken to race victories in real life before. A very strong driver in the BUKC in the last few years has been Axel Slijepcevic. Makes me feel quite old, actually. I think we're decidedly closer to it being 10 years since I first saw Axel race than it is to 5 years. So Axel, whilst younger age, is very, very experienced behind the wheel and pretty accomplished on iRacing as well. As I say, he's had a very up and down season so far. Was out the blocks very quickly at Navarra for round 1 and hasn't really hit those same strides throughout the course of the last 5 rounds. But this, maybe a bit of a reset, bit of a break over Christmas. Maybe he's just reset things for Axel. He's still not got this race won, has he? Tom Roberts not too far behind.
Not quite yet. Tom Roberts doing an impressive job there. I think Tom Roberts has the baked-in advantage of he owned an MX-5 in real life, so there you go. There's where all of that pace clearly comes from. It's okay, it's a 1.6. Sam Spinell versus... Oh,
Tom
apologies,
Saunders.
my timing's just given up.
Oh, no.
So, bit of a radio show for Reeve for the next couple of moments, I assume.
Yeah, still the Spinell Saunders show. They've got Joao Castro ahead of them. I think he's been having some problems in this race. I think they're going to get one more lap in here because the time is not quite clicked over to 25 minutes yet. It's going to be a lot of time. There is the white flag for the race leader. 6 tenths is the advantage, 2/3 of a second pretty much, from Roberts, Andrews and Swain. How do you think Matt Swain will be thinking about this race, Reeve? It's not been a bad one in terms of he was down to 5th, 6th place in the early stages. Yes, he's lost points to his rivals, but if anything, this is the order he would have preferred them in. Slijepcevic is the furthest behind, then it's Roberts, then it's Andrews. So for me, he's really minimising the losses here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even think you can consider it damage control, so to speak. I think it is still going to be around where he scores some decent points. It's not quite at the top end of things where he would have liked to have been, but it's still looking pretty good. And you mentioned earlier, this type of race is really going to spur on the likes of Axel Slijepcevic. Looking back at his record, the MX-5 seems to be his happy hunting ground.
Yeah.
So hopefully, this being the penultimate MX-5 round before we head into Virginia, could still have a good end to the season for Slijepcevic, and plenty of prizes to be won for everyone involved.
So heading towards the chicane then, turns 8, 9 and 10. It's been a very routine performance this from Axel Slijepcevic. He's maintained that gap. Doesn't look like he's been pushing overly hard in this one. He's had the others chase him down, but they've not been able to deal with his pace in this first race of the evening. Back on form, Axel Slijepcevic needed a big result and is going to take race 1 here in Germany. OSCHERSLEBEN, first part of the night, goes to him. Tom Roberts P2, Max Andrews trims the championship lead a little bit with that 3rd place. Matt Swain consolidates his position in 4th. Good drive again from Sam Spinell, P5, top clubman ahead of Tom Saunders. Then Brown, Watson, Adams, de Havilland are the top 10. Jack Eyre, Tim Ellis, Lawrence Vines, Ronald Grossman fights back to 14th place in that one, ahead of Yusuf Bin Sahel. Shawnee 16th, but not a lot of points ahead of AD Whitehouse and Fremont, are still all to play for there. Simon Delamere, top rookie, and in the top 20. Simon is quietly getting on with things in rookie class, and could well be putting himself into title contention with similar results here tonight. Good first race there, Reeve. We have 29 finishers in total for that one. Shame about Sam Sanders. Did not re-emerge from whatever happened early on in that race. I really fear that may have put pay to Sam's chances, realistic chances, of winning one of the higher prizes this year. Well, hopefully they'll be back for race 2, which of course the grid for that will be set by the finishing order of race number 1.
Yeah, hopefully we will see him back. I do have confirmation from him it is actually a hardware issue.
Yeah.
With a snapped throttle return spring, so hopefully you can jerry-rig something, maybe like a bit of a time team scrap heap challenge in between the first and second race to see if he can get his rig back up and running. If not, keyboard's always there, Sam.
Yes. Yes, indeed. That's a real shame for Sam Sanders then. Let's have a look at the results from that first race. Oh, I've done it again. I've not set it back to position 1. There we go. Slijepcevic wins half a second from Roberts. Tom Roberts nicely up there again from Andrews and Swain. Spinell, Saunders, Brown, Watson, Adams to Haviland all confirmed in the top 10 ahead of Ellis. Eyre, Ellis, Vines, Grossman and Binter Hale. Top 15 all locked out by Prems and Clubmans, as they should be. Next were the intermediates. Shawnee, Adey and Whitehouse take us to the end of page number 1. James Fremont and Simon Delamere. Really good drive there from Simon up into the top 20. We've got to cut away from that, though, because the race already is about to begin then for the second time tonight. Can Slijepcevic get that same kind of start that we saw in race number 1? That looks pretty clean and tidy as they run down towards the first turn. They're all away down towards the first braking zone. Looking pretty good so far for the winner of race number 1. Side by side between Andrews and Roberts for second place. It's another clean looking start there. Bit of gravel has been accumulated on the outside of turn number 2, but doesn't look to be causing anyone any issues at this early stage, Reeve.
No, a pretty good getaway for everyone there as we see Andrews just about get a nose ahead, gets the advantage on Roberts with a familiar move that we have seen on lap 1 into the hotel right-hander. So Slijepcevic versus Andrews, although Roberts is going to try and claw it back, heading down the inside and does so. Fantastic view from Matt Swain's car here to see Roberts take back second position. Just behind is Andrews. Then we have Swain, who we're on board with here. A little bit of a twitch from the rear end of Max Andrews' MX-5 there before we head back up towards the second half of the lap. A little bit of a kink in the straight there to really keep the drivers on their toes, and Slijepcevic is beginning to build a few important car lengths here.
Does indeed. Sam Spinell's had a good start as well. Is on the back of this group. Matt Swain trying to get a bit of tyre temperature. Sorry, no, that was Adam Brown trying to get a little bit of tyre temperature in there. So Brown is up at least one spot in the early stages of this race. Cam Watson down to 9th. Tom Saunders has suffered as well, down 4 positions to P10. So end of the first lap. Slijepcevic at the moment still looking composed at the front of the field. Andrews a bit wide though. This could be a chance for Matt Swain to have a go down towards turn number 1, perhaps on board now with the championship leader. His closest adversary directly ahead of us. Thinks better of it for now, which is probably good tactics at this stage of the season, Reeve, to say Matt Swain's got this good points advantage. Made mistakes at Portimao when trying to chase and overtake Tom Roberts that did cost him a little bit. He knows he doesn't need to overdrive here tonight.
Absolutely, it goes back to what we were saying towards the end of race 1. I'm sure he'd like to be higher up the order and go vying for those race wins at every single stage of every event, but he doesn't quite need to at this point, so why not just play things a little bit more sensibly, take away the good points hauls when you're going to get them, and then maybe when things go right, you can continue on with those podiums, and it will be a surefire way to take away a very good result in the championship indeed, as we head further back down the order, looking on board with Adam Brown. Now Adam Brown has some company in the form of Yusuf Bin Sahel, heads through the chicane there before we continue on.
Yeah, Adam's had a problem on this lap. He was a long way down the order from where we previously saw him. He's now fighting with Ronald Grossman. This is over 13th place. As they head along the back straight and towards turns 8, 9 and 10. Good racing between these two, and through goes Brown. Brown does look quick tonight. He's just not quite had the rub of the green so far with particularly the early stages of these races. Issues for Craig Brown to report. Not from there. That was the first race start. I think this was the one later on. Well, Craig's already had damage on the car there, and pulls into pit lane, so apologies, not quite sure what's happened there to Craig Brown, but he is pretty much at the back of the field of 30 drivers in this one. Oh, a little bit crossed up there for Brown to the rear bumper of Lawrence Vines. Lawrence Vines having a good night so far here at Reeve. I didn't really speak much about him in the first race, but started 13th in this one after that top 15 result in the first race, and he's gone forward so far in this one as well, currently 7th in class. Yeah,
absolutely. He's having a really nice time out in the Clubman's running at the moment. Good few points to be taken away from this event. Hopefully continues to build on that progress throughout the remaining rounds this season, and looking forward into the next running as well. The number 100 car there just ahead of him is Murray Adams, who we've had a brief look at and a number of points so far this evening. But yeah, everyone running pretty well, it must be said, in this second race of the evening. All looks pretty calm at the moment, but you never know just when things are going to heat up. We see some pretty impressive action early on in the evening's running as we go on board with Hassan Iqbal, number 340 car,
who's currently rookie leader. Sorry to cut across you there, Reeve. Apologies, Hassan, if I'm forgetting here. I think that's the first time I've said that this season. Hassan Iqbal leading in class. This is a good step forward for Hassan, which is what the rookie class is all about, isn't it, Reeve? It gives those drivers who are new to iRacing and this series, I mean, to put it into context, some of those drivers in the intermediate class, James Fremont has pretty much been in this one since the pandemic days when the championship was formed. David Whitehouse likewise. Shawnee and Ady now into their, third championship after last year's main championship and the BUKC iRacing trophy. These are established names who know the tricks of the game, so the rookie class gives those drivers the opportunity to learn but also still compete for race victories, and Hassan Iqbal doing just that right now in this squabble with points leader Dan Cookers. Oh, I think there's a little off there for Eric Mignon.
Absolutely, it is one of the benefits of having 4 classes that we compete with, all in similar cars as well. It makes for some great close racing, but you've always got someone to rival, as we do have someone off the track there. Matthew Shawnee having a really impressive run so far this evening. His luck unfortunately running out in this early phase of race 2. He tumbles down the intermediate order. Is currently running along in 4th in that standing now, and will have all the work to do to climb his way back up the end, back up the order.
I was going to say that has relinquished the lead in intermediates. Let's have a look at how that happened. So through the curbs. Oh, just gets caught out there. Oh, and then there's a tag with his teammate. Oh, John Ady tagged the rear at the 214. Now, I think John just got a little bit caught out there. That was a bit of a concertina effect for Matthew. Nearly making contact. That might have been with Yusuf bin Sahel. Yusuf was at no fault on that occasion. But, well, that is a little bit of parachuting carrot on carrot action that has resulted now in Ady taking the lead in that category. Shawnee fighting back here, trying to get down the inside of Andy Alston. That's not going to be an easy thing to do. Alston out of position as well in terms of sheer pace. Side by side as well between Atty Cooper and Joao Gabriel Castro. Joao trying to fight his way back up through the order. Good to see Atty Cooper fighting with some of the more regular drivers in this category as well. Shroud gets that position in the end for P25, but another driver moving forward. Let's say is 25th place overall, 10th place in class at the moment for Shroud. Other changes to report. There's a lot going on in this one. I think we've had a change for second place because Max Andrews has got through past Tom Roberts. Tom Roberts struggling perhaps a little bit in this race so far, but also Andrews has got the attentions of his title rival Matt Swain directly behind him. This is going to be a spicy one, I feel.
It will indeed. All the action continuing on at the top end of the pack, and if anyone wants to put together a Club 100 iRacing out of context completion, I think round 7 at OSCHERSLEBEN is shaping up to be a pretty good one so far, as we see Andrews very much under pressure now from a
mistake,
as we alluded to.
Mistake from Slijepcevic there, got away with it. but I think just went a bit too deep into turn 1, has lost a good chunk of his lead. I think we can also have a look at how these guys exchanged positions. Yes, we can. It was back on lap number 4 that Andrews got through. So Roberts ran wide out of turn 13. That allowed Andrews to get down underneath. And then I think it goes wheel to wheel as well between Swain and Roberts. Eventually, Swain is going to take that one. But yeah, that's how it all happened a few moments ago. Back with live pictures. Slijepcevic. Well, we've mentioned how he's had some rough moments so far this season. That moment there, just going deep into turn 1, was well recovered. But a reminder, Axel Slijepcevic is human and prone to human error from time to time. The pressure's going to be on now with the 2 championship leaders directly behind him.
It is absolutely. We've already had one division leader have their fortunes run out so far in race 2. At least for Axel's sake, I hope we don't have another one, because that will rob us what I think is going to be a naturally very impressive battle for the top end of the order here, as we see Spinell jumping on to this now quintet battling for the race lead. We're going to have a full orchestra by the end of this evening, I assume. As we run into the hotel section once more, Andrews is the driver putting the pressure on Slijepcevic, or at least trying to. Swain takes a nice tight run into that first real corner on the lap, and keeping Max Andrews honest at this point in time. We'll go on board with Tom Robert. I left a Johnny Pinder in the comments who says Tom does have plenty of experience of how an MX-5 rides on the curbs. He certainly does, after an unfortunate evening in the snow in Cheshire.
Oh dear.
And is able to keep that pressure on.
Interesting watching the slightly different lines of these drivers, particularly through this part of the course. Tom Roberts getting the wipers on. He's driving that fast in this race. This result.
He's thinking back to the snow. That's all.
Okay. I suppose yes. Did Cheshire get hit quite? I would say Birmingham got hit quite in quite a hefty way with the snow. At least based on what was left when we were headed up there for the awards on Saturday. Did Cheshire get a goodly dollop as well?
It did indeed. So we weren't quite sure. We decided, myself and fellow better Johnny Penn decided the best course of action was to go and explore it. Well, Tom was on semi-slicks.
MX-5s are absolutely fine in the snow. I can attest to this.
Tom's was, up until now it only has 3 alloy wheels.
Oh dear. Oxfordshire got nothing at all.
No.
Because, you know, it's a weather system in the south, and therefore it's a news story, even though it's not.
Yes.
Anyway, back to racing. Just over 11 and a half minutes of this race gone, and it's got into a nice rhythm so far in this one, as Roberts really gets in deep through turn number 2 there. Sam Spinell still there as well. Spinell could is playing this nicely. I think is had some rough patches earlier on in the season. As I say, the rate of positions gained and how he got through, you know, no penalty points, nothing like that at Portimao, really felt like a bit of a turning point for him. He could make a real big inroad into the championship lead of Tom Saunders in the class here tonight, especially if these 4 start having a bit of a further squabble and opens him up for a gain of some positions later on in this race, because he's got a good gap to the rest of the clubmans behind.
He does indeed. He can afford to kind of start to explore and have a bit of fun with the top end of the order here, potentially. Can Spinell, if he can break away. Apologies, no, he has broken away. Again, liveries are catching me out this evening. I think they're changing between rounds. On my end, which is interesting.
We'll get it sorted. We'll get it sorted the next one. I know we keep saying that, but 2026 is going to be different for things like that. Anyway, John Hady having an interesting. It's not the closest battle with David Whitehouse, but it does feel like one of those that it's one mistake away from being decided. Not that either of these drivers are going to make a mistake, but they're really pushing at the moment. You can see them basically on the rear of the Clubman field, and probably both aware as well that Matthew Shawn is a few positions back again in this one, so they need to take advantage of this as we're in the second half of this race now. A few of the positions being exchanged. We've seen Eric Mignon get past Atty Cooper in recent moments. That's for P26. Andy Alston, I'm very intrigued as to why Andy Alston's pace just is not there tonight. As I say, it is a free circuit, this one, so whilst it's a newer one on the service, it is one that's readily available. But right now, Andy Alston down in 24th and struggling to find a way through past the likes of Simon Delamere and Sean Patterson at the present moment. Biggest mover in the race so far, plus 7 positions for Hassan Iqbal at the front of this group with Matthew Shawnee and James Fremont, and yeah, really looking good at the moment, and potentially on for a race victory within the rookie class. Further up the order, this is all around 10th place. Adam Brown just behind Murray Adams. Jack Eyre, not talked too much about Jack Eyre so far tonight. Tends to do a pretty solid job in the MX-5s. Right now on for another top 10. This is looking like a good scrap here, Reeve.
Certainly is. We're on board with the aforementioned Jack Eyre, currently fighting for a P3 in the club-100 as well, not just top 10 overall, so a really important event for him if he can pull this result off. See a big cluster of MX-5s heading in to the hotel right-hander, all navigating it pretty well, though, all pretty cleanly, it must be said. Adam Brown gets a good run out of the right-hander there to box off his rival.
Sorry to cut across you, Reeve. Change for the race lead. I thought I saw a flash of red through the picture, and it did indeed. Max Andrews has taken the lead of this race. This is how he did it. Oh, it was through turn 9. What a move from Max Andrews through, whether Axel Slijepcevic liked it or not. Matt Swain got in there as well. I think Matt Swain for a moment had the race lead. We'll keep this replay running. This is all in recent moments. Sam Spinell was having to go for 4th place also. That's how Andrews got it. Back to live pictures where it's still kicking off between all members of this top 5. Race on here. Max Andrews has put Axel Slijepcevic under pressure. The trouble is, though, Reeve, in terms of the championship, that he's kind of allowed his big rival to gain out of this. Swain's got through past Slijepcevic. Slijepcevic now having a look down the inside. I wonder how aggressive Slijepcevic gets now. He knows he cannot afford to sit behind Matt Swain of any driver, if any driver, I should say, at this stage of the season. He needs to be beating the championship leader. Does he go all in at this moment, knowing that, you know, if he loses this one, it could pretty much all be done?
Yeah, it is a very fine balance to try and achieve here. 8 minutes to go in the race, of course. A bit more action coming up later on as well. Need to play his cards right here. Slijepcevic down into 3rd now. This might spur on the likes of Roberts or Spinell, who go, hang on, there's a bit of action, a bit of eclectic fighting happening on just in front. We've got a chance here, so this could draw, could spur on those drivers in 4th and 5th back into the action here. For now, though, we have a great shot from the rear bumper of Swain to show us Slijepcevic getting as close as he dares. The intimidating face of the MDMX5 filling up your screens, folks, as he heads around the right-hander. Good run out of the corner there for Swain, though. Keeps Slijepcevic at bay. Slijepcevic bounds over the curb, having a brief glance down the inside, but nowhere for him to go just yet. The track gets a bit wider at the end of the lap. Might have another opportunity there.
This has stepped up a notch. It really has. You can tell that it's getting to that critical end of the championship season. Slijepcevic trying to get Swain off the main racing line there. Swain is wise to it, keeps hold of 2nd place for now. They're going to go towards turn number 13. This will be a corner very much to Swain's advantage. Slijepcevic working really hard here, but you've got to say this has been an underrated part of Matt Swain's arsenal so far for me this season, that he has had moments where he's been up against it. He's had challenges, but his racecraft has been absolutely on point, whether in attack, which we've obviously seen a lot of this year, but also in defence.
There we go then, continuing further on. upper midfield, not too far back, all things considered. In terms of pace as well, they're looking pretty similar. I was looking at P6 downwards just in the back of shot there, but there we see it's going to be Spinell having a look around the outside of Tom Roberts. Tom Roberts having to focus all of his efforts on the defensive action against Spinell instead of trying to claw up back towards the podium here as we're on board with Andrews. He's the car following along at the moment. Swain has a brief glance down the inside there, not too preoccupied by Slijepcevic at the moment, I get the impression, as Andrews still controls things in the number 50 plated car there. But Swain having a little bit of a glance there on the corner exit, gets closer still. Nothing to be done just yet as the track gets twistier yet again.
Does indeed. This one is not over by any means at the moment. Just over 5 minutes to go on the clock as Swain looking down the inside for the race lead for the first time here tonight. Championship leader versus second place. Andrews holds around the outside, has got to carry the speed through the exit of the chicane and does so. My oh my, this is brilliant stuff. Absolutely superb once again. In the CLUB100 iRACING Championship, there's a touch there between Spinell and Roberts. Over fourth place, Spinell has got through and taken the position. Everybody's driving a little bit scrappy at the moment. And look at that second group as well, headed up by the likes of Tom Saunders and James de Havilland. What is the pace looking like? They're catching. They are catching right now, that second group, in the high 138s, this top five in the mid 139s.
Yeah, that is a pretty big pace delta as we had, I think, 4 minutes, not too much that can be done there, but say this race was about 5 or 10 minutes longer, we would have been in for a very interesting turn of events for this one as David Whitehouse dips into the pits.
I think this is a penalty for David Whitehouse. He's got the black flag, has well, not gotten any noticeable damage on the car. That is a real shame for David Whitehouse. Could be a pivotal moment in his quest for intermediate class honours. That's a good bit of news if you're a Matthew Shawnee fan. Puts Shawnee now back up to second place in class. Back with the front runners here, Reeve. This is getting nervy. I think they've realised now that they've got to up the pace a bit. This is looking a little bit more like it. But again, is this where Max Andrews starts to play some tactics and say, well, no, I don't want to help Matt Swain in this situation. I'd quite like another 5 or 6 drivers getting involved in this scrap for the race lead, because if they could get somehow ahead of my title rival, chances for a big points haul incoming.
That could work very well to his favour, but to play devil's advocate, if he does hold up Swain and those drivers swarm Swain, well, he's only a car length ahead.
Yeah.
It's all very close quarters here. Does he run the risk in the final few minutes of potentially giving up his victory by a few places? We'll have to wait and see as we head down the start-finish straight now. Swain gets his car alongside, benefits from any slipstream might have been, and takes the race lead by a hair into the first part of the corner. But back through goes Andrews, and Slijepcevic is down the inside into the hotel as well. Might it be for P1? I think it will be, because our previous race leader is round. Through goes Andrew towards the infield. A disaster at the very end part of this race. It's Andrews who gives it all up in his fight for the victory. Tumbles back down towards the midfield.
You knew it was coming. You knew something was coming. Let's have a look at that again. Slijepcevic had got down the inside. Where did the touch? I just don't think Max knew he was there. There's the touch. There's the spin. Matt Swain, for the second time tonight, is a very, very lucky boy indeed. And on two fronts in this case, because Max Andrews now down the order. That is now full advantage surely to Matt Swain. Max Andrews is 13th now in this race. Slijepcevic has retaken the lead. That's surely going to get looked at. That will get looked at in the post-race stewarding session as well. Not saying that there's any faults to be attributed and any penalties required, but it's an incident at the front of the field that is sure to be looked at. I mean, the drivers are open to protesting things as well. I imagine Max Andrews will want to put something in for that. I hope it doesn't spoil the end of this race. I hope it doesn't spoil the end of this round. We've got 2 more laps of this circuit to go here in race number 2. Slijepcevic and Swain, first and second. And what did we say about Sam Spinell and the opportunities for some big points in this race? Well, he's up to 3rd place now. Yes, Saunders and Adams have gained out of that as well. But Sam Spinell doing another brilliant job right now on for a P3 overall.
Yeah, a really impressive run in the clubmans here, and all of a sudden for Tom Roberts it just becomes ever so more important to show a pace advantage if he does have one over Spinell. Slijepcevic and Swain returning back to the usual programming, shall we say, of just having a great little battling duel as we head into the final few moments of this race, and Slijepcevic leads things a little bit more comfortably than we saw over the past couple of laps. Now this leading, it's gone back down to a quartet. The band has broken up, the orchestra has not formed up. 39s, mid-39s, and that is what we're seeing from the upper midfield as well. So I don't think we're going to see the likes of P5, P6, P7 closing up at any point in this race, but still a great effort, a great scrap overall from everyone involved.
Is indeed. Oh, it's not done yet though, because here comes Matt Swain. Matt Swain knows this is a big opportunity. He could win the championship tonight, side by side, wheel to wheel with Axel Slijepcevic, and he's taken the race lead. However, here comes Sam Spinell. I thought Sam Spinell was going to throw it down the inside there, but thought better of it. We've still got another lap of this to go. Matt Swain, oh, nearly out of shape there, out of the final corner. It's going on as well between Spinell and Roberts for P3. White flag out in what has been a sensational race number 2, and here comes Slijepcevic again with the slipstream down towards turn number 1, but it flicks left into right pretty quickly. Matt Swain will try and hold it on the inside. This is where we saw the spin for Max Andrews a few moments ago. Slijepcevic trying to carry the speed around the outside. Roberts indeed is through past Spinell into 3rd place. Is this race of the season? Quite possibly so far in the 2025-26 CLUB100 iRACING Championship season. And it's still not done, Reeve Taylor. Slijepcevic is surely going to have another go.
I'm certain that he will, and I'm pleased to say that we have got a few more opportunities for him to do so as Swain leads the charge into the S's ahead. Now Roberts is very much under pressure from Spinell. That battle is certainly not over as well. We've got a train of cars behind to boot, and here we go. Swain bounds over the curb. Slijepcevic just hanging back ever so slightly, might be picking his opportunity for a late braking manoeuvre there. We can see Swain already on the defensive on the straight, didn't quite get the same corner exit that Slijepcevic did. Not that there's a big delta between them. Early on the brakes there for Swain, if anything, is looking to catch out Slijepcevic, I suspect, and he did catch out Slijepcevic. The back end gets a little bit unhappy as we see Roberts going off in the background there. Spinell also had a brief moment. That has cost him a lot of time, and it looks pretty settled for P3 and P4. But still not done for Swain, who heads on to the start-finish straight, a good amount ahead of his rival Slijepcevic, and after all is said and done, Swain takes race of victory. Slijepcevic comes home in 2nd, Roberts and Spinell complete the order.
Wow, what to say about that one? Is that the drive that puts Matt Swain within a touching distance of winning this championship early? Max Andrews P12 in that one, so that's 3rd and 12th. There is still another race of tonight to go, but something just tells me that that was a turning point for the hopes of those tracing Matt Swain so far. Oh well, at this stage of the season, Swain wins it from Slijepcevic. Another clubman win for Spinell. A bit of controversy there in that race, though. You could argue for each of the top 3 class winners in that one. Swain, Spinell, and for John Haley, they were all involved in a few bits out there. Well done to Hassan Iqbal as well, who got the win in the rookie category. Right, we'll take a short break. We'll do some maths. We'll try and work out what the situation is in terms of the championship. Keep it locked here on the DDMM YouTube channel. We'll be back soon with race 3. Welcome everybody once again to Kim Bolton. Whatever you're doing, put your phone on silent, put the tea down, do whatever you need to do to be ready for this, the title decider for 2025 in the Reeve Tools Motorsport UK British Kart Championships in KZ2. The Gearbox Short Circuit title is on the line. This is going to be a nail-biter, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen some stunning finishes in this KZ2 class in years gone by. You think back to the likes of 2019, you think back to last year as well. What is going to happen here in 2025? It's the Reeve Tools Motorsport UK British Car Championships. It's KZ2 and we are racing in the season finale. It's a good start for Price. It's a good start for Weston and Murphy. Stevens is already fighting for P4. Really good stuff. Maxim Rem goes around the outside of Finn McLaughlin to retake the race lead. McLaughlin responds down the inside. Rem's run wide there. Another couple of the iRACING runners also wide as they go into the infield. Where is Simon Strands in all of this? One of the Van Amersfoort Racing cars is off. There he is. There he is, the number 25 of Simon Strands, and you can just see from the body language of his car that he's miles quicker than everybody else. Got to keep his rear tyres in check as Simon Strands. That's what he was struggling with through turns 12 and 13 after the long run through 10 as he weaves his way through. What an incredible piece of driving there from Simon Strands, who's now up to, is it third place? There is Finn McLaughlin, who's going to be the next target for Simon Strands. So it's in this part of the course. He breezes past him as if Finn McLaughlin's not even there. Martins is going to be watching the mirrors down into turn one as we go back to green. Looking around the outside, there is Machado. That's a brave move through turn one, out onto the curb. He'll have the next corner to the advantage of the Aston Martin into turn number two. If Machado can make that work, that's one of the overtakes of the race, and he's done it. Oh, big spin. Oh, that's a big off for the Aston Martin 007. That, to me, looked not to be driver error. I wonder, is that some form of failure for the Aston Martin Vantage? That was a very high speed off. Got to say, the number 16 Toyota did very well to avoid any further incidents, and not a surprise, safety car scramble. This is what we want to see. This is the battle that I thought would occur before the start of this race. The Briton used to these conditions. Mike Halder with the strong record round this. Oh, they're off. They're both off. They're off into the gravel on driver's left out of turn 9. The battle is over. They're out of the race, and through back into the lead will go René Paulsen. What happened there? Brickley spins his front wheels. That's dug in. That's going no further. And coming through now is the number 28 of Eric Genet. Genet, who's never won a TCR Spain points race, has gone from 10th on the grid to lead at the end of lap season. It's going to be 7 wins out of 8. The only time he didn't win this season was when he was going up against a solo run against Lawrence Herr. A brilliant performance from Danny Sufi throughout the season. He won the title yesterday and he makes it a clean sweep at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. It's a Conrad Motorsports 1-2 with Zeno Ferret-Falca on the podium as well. Quentin Joseph over the line in third. That is provisional of...
But Andrew Mather, it's your first Kart Masters, so please bring them to the start.
15 minutes plus 1 lap are underway for the Grand Prix in Minimax 2025. It's a very good start for Emerson McAndrew. One of the SFRs is taking to the grass in the early stages, but apart from that, it looks pretty good. Finding the grip. 3-4 corners to go. What a win this is going to be for George Edgar. George Edgar wins gold. Gold for the United Kingdom. What a drive. Yes, it's not done yet, is Daniel Ferguson. He could have 14 positions, and here he goes down the inside on Ozzie Gibson. Ozzie Gibson tries to fight it around the outside, but nothing is stopping Daniel Ferguson in this race, particularly through turns 3 and 4 as Phillips goes for the lead. Phillips down the inside, and he takes it away from his teammate. What a move by Jesse Phillips.
He's coming back.
Cradham's going to give it him back. Here's the point where they've got to be careful. How many chains have we seen pop off there through turn 3 and 4? Everything was fine. As out of the race, is it Archie Owen who's out of the race?
It's Evan Purcell
It's Evan Purcell. They've both gone. Here we go. It was always going to happen when it stacks up. Archie Owen and Evan Purcell's weekends and hopes of Miami Winter Cup victory are over. Let's head across to Eli Christian, who's the first of our top 4 in the championship. Eli, yes, it's not pole position, but you are the highest ranked driver on the grid of those right at the sharp end of the championship. You've cut the lead to William Kalesia behind. Are you feeling you can do this? Can you take the championship lead today?
Yes,
So final lap board is going to come out now. Harry Bartle sees it, looking to take his second win of the year. First win, first podium visit it would be as well, since all the way back at Dunk as well. Tingley defends to the inside. I don't think Higgins is going to get involved in that though, because he has a 7-point advantage. But out of the final corner, Harry Bartle, through the final 2 turns, will take his second win of the year, will take second place in the championship and the place in Bahrain. But Matthew Higgins, from 2 weeks ago, a horrendous incident could have put pay to his season. It didn't happen for him 1 week ago at the World Championships, but here at PF International, a circuit where he's had so many successes over the years, he can now say for the first time he is Reeve Tools Motorsport UK Senior Rotax British Champion.
Let's go with Maria Neto around her home circuit on this year's calendar, the Cartodromo International Algarve. The lap starts quick with high speeds through the right-handers of turns 1 and 2 before a tricky stop on the brakes into another right-hander, turn 3.
This is the part of the course though where Kenzo Craigie has been really strong for the past 10 laps or so. Noah Baglin has got to hold it together. He's got to pick his line very carefully off of the Litchfield Bridge. This could be the key point into hairpin number 1. Baglin goes right, Craigie goes left. Craigie is nearly off the road. Both of them are off the road. Craigie's going to look for the switchback. Hairpin 2 is going to be another opportunity for them. Baglin goes defensive again. Craigie's got his node ahead. Can he get on the power? He's off the road. He's completely off the road. He's still side by side of Baglin and Craigie through the Fullerton S's. What a finish we're having here at PF International. It's still not done. You can overtake everywhere around the circuit. Craigie looks down the inside. He's through. Welcome back, everybody, to OSCHERSLEBEN. Here is your confirmed result from race number 2. Matt Swain, Axel Slijepcevic, Tom Roberts, 1, 2, 3. Sam Spinell, Tom Saunders, Murray Adams, Adam Brown, James Haviland, Cam Watson, Jack Eyre, all in the top 10. Ronald Grossman, Max Andrews, Tim Ellis, Yusuf Bin Zahel and John Adey, top 15. And then the rest of the order, Lawrence Vines, Aslan Iqbal, Andy Olsen. Good drives there from both Adey and Iqbal being their respective class winners. Moving down the order, 19th place for Matthew Shawnee, James Fremont 20th, Patterson, Holland, Delamere, Mignon, Cook, Cooper, Castro, Hale, Whitehouse and Brown, the 30 finishers in that one. Sam Sanders did not take the start of the race. Ollie Walker is not competing tonight, and I don't think either is Kieran Boylan, unfortunately. Right, we've been doing some maths, Reeve. We think we are in a potential championship deciding position going into this next race, don't we? Although I should probably read it out because I've got the maths in front of me, haven't I? So, those scores so far. Remember, folks, that a drop is the worst score as a night score. It's not done by individual racers here and there, like it is perhaps in other, Club 100 sprints, for example. A heat here in round 1 and round 5 and round 7, and then your final from round 2 and round 9 and all that business. No, the drops are done by the totality of the night. So at the moment, all your front runners are still on their drop score for the night because they've not done 3 races yet. But the crucial thing is this: 3rd and 12th for Max Andrews means that if he wins this race, this next race, he would move to 198 out of 240 for the night. That would make his max possible, so a perfect rounds 8, 9 and 10. By our calculations, and I stress, folks, these are very, very provisional, the max possible would be 1575. And if he doesn't win a race, that max possible, any race, could be this race, could be a race at round 8, 9 or 10, that 1575 can drop. For instance, if Matt Swain was to win this next race, that would take 4 points at least away from Max Andrews for finishing second. So a drop the max possible for Max down to 1.571. And if Matt Swain was to win this race, his score at the end of tonight would be 1.574. That is a very long way around to say if Matt Swain wins this race, he is champion, because there would be no other driver able to beat his score locked in at the end of tonight. However, it is still a little bit of a long shot, especially when you consider that Axel Slijepcevic has looked very, very good tonight. Who knows what's going to happen in this last race of the evening, Reeve? It's been a corker already, hasn't it?
It has indeed, and thankfully we get 25 more minutes.
We do indeed. Very quick run down that grid. Swain and Slijepcevic on row 1. Roberts and Spinell row 2. Saunders and Adams row 3. Brown and de Havilland row 4. Watson and Eyre row 5. Grossman and Andrews on row 6. Next up, row 7. Tim Ellis and Yusuf Binter-Hale. John Adey, Lawrence Fiennes, Hassan Iqbal, Andy Alston, Matt Shawnee and James Fremont take us down to 20th. We're ready to go, though, for the last time here tonight. Is this the moment at which Matt Swain can run to the title? We're away and racing once again here at OSCHERSLEBEN for the last time in round 7 of the CLUB100 iRacing Championship. Swain will lead down towards turn number 1. Slijepcevic slots into P2 immediately. Good start for Roberts, good start for Spinell as well. Up to third or holding third and fourth places. Keep an eye on the bright red machine of Max Andrews, who's still there in around, 12th position right now. He needs to go on the attack for this one. No point holding back, hoping this race comes to him, because Matt Swain, early stages of this race, Reeve, on a charge, leads, is in championship winning position.
Yeah, currently doing absolutely everything that he needs to do. Everyone at the top end of the pack, as you mentioned, Andrew, got a very strong start in this field. In fact, the race starts throughout the racing so far this evening have been really impressive, so well done for that, drivers. But Swain continues on into the mid-sector of the lap. Now we jump on board with John Adey, who's had a bit of an issue heading into the long sweeping right-hander, is able to pick it back up again, but has tumbled right towards the bottom of the order.
This is a little replay of it. Just ran wide and loses a lot of track position there. I'd say in this tight battle in the clubman and the intermediate and rookie classes, it's getting a little bit tetchy out there tonight. Lots of drivers making mistakes here and there. Just to be clear, I do reckon that clubman, intermediate and rookie will all go on to at least round 8, which is going to be an interesting one. If you've not seen the calendar, we're back in the GT3s, of course, but we're heading to the mountain. We're heading to Mount Panorama, to Bathurst, for what's going to be a brave one. Oh, incident in the background involving Eric Mignon and others. I think David Whitehouse was caught up in that one as well. Now, what was the trigger for that one? Let's have a look back. So there was a moment between Eric Mignon and I think Simon Delamere. It's that Daniel Cook on the outside. Oh, and then Mignon just loses it, and I think he's going to just land in the middle of the road. Oh, David Whitehouse does very, very well to avoid. Simon Delamere, I think, just catches the Belgians 3:28 out of the final corner. But that's a problem for Eric Mignon. I'll tell you what, this is a problem as well for Matt Swain, Reeve. Axel Slijepcevic, like we saw at the end of race number 2, is all over the back of the number 98.
He is indeed. Swain's not going to have an easy ride in this one. Roberts in the Cormorant Motorsport car closing up on, but also being very wary of Spinell just in the background here. This is a very familiar battle to what we got to enjoy around about 50 minutes ago. It's pretty much a resumption of what we saw earlier on with Swain under pressure from Slijepcevic. Will Slijepcevic pull off a move down the inside into the switchbacks here? No, he thinks better of it. That is going to be a late race move if ever there is one.
Yes, indeed. So coming round to finish the second lap then. Swain from Slijepcevic, from Roberts. That's your 1, 2, 3 right now. Spinell leading. At the moment, this would be a big, big victory for the top Belgian in the standings heading into tonight. Could he be the clubman class standings leader, leaving round number 7, 3 to play. And also with some space to run into in terms of drop scores. They will start coming into play when we head down under in 2 weeks' time. If you do want to get involved, you can still get involved. Head across to thesimgrid.com. Look up the CLUB100 Racing sim racing page on there. Not just for this championship, but we're in planning mode after tonight for some other championships. Won't be as, say, serious as this one. We won't have the big prizes on the line that come around once a year. But we are wanting to keep the community going, wanting to keep it active until the autumn rolls around again, and we do another one of these off in real life season championships for some of these big prizes, kindly provided to us by John Ryder and the CLUB100 Racing team, who are of course getting ready for their 2026 season as well. Keep an eye out across the Alpha Live and DDMM social medias and the CLUB100 social medias as well for the broadcast schedule that will be coming out very soon. Quite a few yellow flags out at the moment. Have we had some problems for some of our drivers? No. This is a battle between Sean Patterson and Daniel Cook. Cook almost getting through there. This is a good battle between two rookies. Nice move. Really nice move there from Daniel Cook. Is impressing me a lot in this this mid part of the season, Reeve. Well-deserved leader in the championship at the moment of the rookies.
Yeah, absolutely. Really nice move, hanging it around the outside then to head back onto the start-finish straight now with a nice gap that is slowly being built up to Sean Patterson. Sean Patterson occupied by James Fremont just behind, according to my timing system, which has been somewhat unreliable this evening, but I'm going to go with that. Daniel Cook heads in to the first corner. A little bit of damage on the front end of his car, so I wonder if that is something to do with the yellow flags that we saw a lap ago. A little bit of gravel making itself known on the circuit, although still nothing will ever compare to Knock Hill earlier on this season.
When we turn Knock Hill into a beach. Yeah. Any of the racing from this season, if you've missed it, you can watch it back at your leisure here on the DDMM YouTube channel. If you're enjoying the broadcast, if you've not done so already or previously, do give us a subscribe if you don't mind, on the charge to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of this season. Problems for Simon Delamere, or is it problems? I think it's just a moment with our highlight system. But he has been in the pits, we know that, so back out again, back out on circuit. We did see him in a bit of trouble earlier on after that spin for Eric Mignon. Back with the race leaders. Matt Swain controlling this one nicely. The big problem though at this stage for his rival, Max Andrews, is just simply not able to get through this pack right now. The clubmans have been properly quick tonight. Your Spinells, your Saunders, your Adamses of this world, as Adam Brown and Murray Adams going wheel to wheel into the hotel complex. This is going to get a little bit tight in the second part of this opening to the lap. Brown down the inside, takes 6th place. Good move there, Reeve.
Yep, cracking stuff there as we see the Ipswich now very much under pressure from Roberts. That gap is getting pretty consistent. We had a great shot earlier on from the rear bumper where we saw just how close these cars are getting, and I imagine if we were to look at that once again, we'd be seeing just a screen full of MX-5 again, as we see Swain controlling things nicely at the front end of the pack. Saunders now jumping in on the front end action that he missed out on a little bit towards the end of race 2. Spinell obviously experienced driving against these 4 fellow competitors at this phase of the evening, and that is something that is actually really quite nice about the 3-race format that we have in the MX-5s. Is obviously these drivers are very experienced. They know how to race each other. They know these tracks pretty well, and they've got plenty of experience in iRacing. But to get here on this tyre setup, on this car setup for this year, they're going to build experience racing each other throughout the evening. So the likes of Saunders will begin to learn a little bit more about his rivals as we get further into the races, and it means that you might just learn a corner or two where you might have an advantage, as we see Swain still leads us on to the start-finish straight. Roberts still putting the pressure on Slijepsevich as we head down towards the next lap. Saunders losing out just a little bit there. Spinell also dropping back.
Apologies for the issues with timing on your screens. We'll work to get that back for you as soon as possible. And, well, we'll do it the old-fashioned way, won't we, mate, for the time being. We can assure you that Matt Swain is still in the lead of this race. There he is in the onboard view, going into through the infield. It's looked like it's gone a bit overcast again. It's gone back to the kind of conditions that we saw at the start of this evening.
Yeah, it's probably actually looking a little bit more mild and pleasant. Well, certainly is more mild and pleasant than it currently is here, because it'll be in the middle of the night at the moment, obviously. But
Yes.
I can imagine certain bits of Saxony over the past few weeks have been a little bit less raceable than what we're currently enjoying. So overcast weather, probably not a bad thing.
I say we do have to run these sessions slightly earlier in the lobby time of day than previously in the season, for the very simple reason of well, trying to broadcast in the dark is difficult, and it doesn't make the liveries look very good. So we're a little bit further forward in the lobby time than normal. But bit of news from further down the order. Unfortunately, I think Hassan Iqbal's had a problem. This was the look through the infield. Oh, we've seen a few of these tonight. As oh no, that was now that is more of a significant incident. Is that another hardware issue? That was more of a come to a stop than a crash, but that's what happened to Hassan. Joao Gabriel Castro. Joao's had a really strange season. It started fantastically, and for whatever reason, it is just... Oh, Swain wide! Swain wide! This is the chance for Slijepcevic. Down the inside. Now, that was a very uncharacteristic error from Matt Swain, and it's cost him the race lead. So through goes Axel Slijepcevic. That drops 6 points off of the tally for Matt Swain as things stand. To be honest, quite a few of them just seemed to run wide there, Reeve. That was quite strange as they were coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, not really. I think that might have been a bit of a collective mishap, shall we call it, where you lured into a false sense of security by following the car in front of you, potentially, to see a few drivers replicating the same mistake there. So Slijepcevic now leads the charge. This is big news if you are a Swain or a Swain enthusiast, because this could have been the race, Andrew, which made all the difference in the championship, but unfortunately that slips away ever so slightly. The work continues on further into the season as it stands.
Well, the key thing that we should note is that it still might be. So right now, the tally would be 1,568 for Matthew Swain at the end of tonight. This is before any attendance bonus points have been applied as well, but in effect, at the front of the field, they all cancel each other out. Max Andrews right now running in 10th place as he quickly does his tally. I think that would bring him 52 points. That would take his 118, live maths on the air, to 170. I think this is still championship. Yeah, it is. It's championship winning position still for Matt Swain by a gap of 5 points. So if Max Andrews can gain 3 positions in that part, kind of from 5th to 10th, it's 2 championship points for every position gained. Max Andrews needs to get his overtaking shoes on here. He needs to clear the likes of Cam Watson, James de Havilland, Murray Adams, if he's going to keep this championship fight alive for at least another round. He needs to get to the front of that second queue. He needs to get to the front of that group headed up by Tom Saunders at this present moment. And that's not going to be easy based on what we've seen so far tonight here, Reeve. We have seen overtaking around this place. There's been probably more overtaking than I was expecting. I was being a bit conservative before we went on the air tonight, thinking, oh, it's another tight and twisty one. We might not see that much overtaking like we saw at Zolder, for example, but I've been wrong on that front. But you've got to be brave. You've got to have quite the delta. You've got to force other drivers into mistakes. And right now, the likelihood of that happening to all 4 drivers ahead of Max Andrews in what? We've got 12 minutes of this race remaining. The odds are pretty long right now, I fear.
Yeah, absolutely. I headed into this round, I made the mistake as well of probably the inverse, thinking, oh, you know what, it'll be nice and wide. There'll be plenty of opportunities, forgetting really that these drivers do need to be pretty much occupying the same part of even the slightly wider parts of the track in order to even have a hope of defending or overtaking. So it has made for some really interesting racing this evening, I must say. The drivers having to think outside the box a little bit, be a little bit braver, and yeah, every overtake we've seen has been a pretty meaningful one. So again, well done to the drivers, putting on a great show for us this evening here at OSCHERSLEBEN.
Apologies for the music's probably been on for the last 12 minutes. That's my bad. But it's off now. 14. So yeah, 14 minutes of this race gone. 11 to go. Axel Slijepcevic still leads this one. I think that the odds are similarly too long now for Axel Slijepcevic to try any kind of tactics to back Matt Swain up into the pack. I mean, he will still have a chance of fighting for some of the top prizes. It's quite a deep prize pot in the Premiers, but in terms of championship bid, I think it's going to be over. This is a good scrap. This is Watson and de Havilland. This could be an opportunity for Max Andrews. Great tactical push there for Max Andrews. He's trying to open a gap here on James de Havilland by helping Cam Watson a little bit here. He's still alongside James de Havilland. James de Havilland will have the advantage of turn 1, but I think if Max Andrews can hold his nose in there for turn 2, this could be one of those positions gained that he needs. He's up to P8 right now, alongside again. Or James de Havilland is not an easy driver to overtake, though. Very experienced hand from the BUKC back in the days. This has got to, he's got to keep his nose alongside Max. He's got to get this position because it's stretching out ahead of him as well. This is going to be the hardest fought 8th place he's ever fought for, and he's got it. Good stuff there from Max Andrews. That gets him another couple of points. This could still be on. It's still going to be an enormous long shot for whether he can win the championship, and he's going to need to go perfect throughout the rest of the season. But at least from the mathematics side of things, Reeve, he is having a go, and he's near the point of keeping this championship alive.
Absolutely, he's just picked his feet up and decided, just going to race, just going to go fast, just going to make the difference. And so yeah, really impressive a run for Max Andrews, as we mentioned, overtaking perhaps not the easiest prospect here, although we have seen plenty. So to still make up a decent number of points when you're already kind of starting in that mid-pack, moving towards that upper mid-pack, is still a really impressive run for Max Andrews to make amends for the unfortunate running earlier on this evening. And I don't think he's quite done yet. Cameron Watson is the car up next as we head through the Shell curve. And I think Cameron's going to have to look at his rearview mirrors, as is Andrews, though, because Adam Brown is still very much there. In fact, goes down the inside through the final corner. So really nice move from Adam Brown there. Just seized and pounced upon his opportunity. And they're not quite done yet. There's going to be contact between the two. Come on, chaps. There's plenty of track to be using down the start-finish straight, but they want to occupy the same part. And they continue with the door bashing as we head into that first corner. Perhaps that is inevitable. Really, round goes Andrews, round goes Brown. De Havilland a survivor in that incident. What a shame the battle ended up in that manner.
That's it. That's going to be it. This is going to be Matt Swain's championship now. There's going to be nothing that Max Andrews can do from this position. This is probably, this might even end up as a dropped round for Max Andrews, and well, he will not be happy about that at all. Adam Brown racing quite firmly there, trying to gain as many positions as he can to get himself up the order in the championship. But I don't think that should take anything away from what Matt Swain has done here tonight. We always said it was possible, but it would need a big, big effort to do it. It would need big results. It would need the continuation of the kind of form that we've seen across the course of the season. And, well, he has delivered that, irrespective of what else has been going on out there. And he can still win this race, you know, as well, because Axel Slijepcevic, who right now would be on for the round win, is starting to look a little bit more out of shape than perhaps we've seen earlier on in the evening, Reeve.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm looking at a few more scrunched up MX-5 ND front ends in this race 3 than I have over the past couple, it seems, as we see Roberts, and that is going to be Roberts and Spinell going side by side into the first corner. Spinell has the inside run through Hotel, all important inside run, but I don't think he's actually going to benefit from it all that much because they're still side by side as they exit the hotel corners. Bit of lap traffic to contend with now for Slijepcevic and Swain. They negotiate it quite nicely, the lap traffic allowing the other competitors on through at the earliest available opportunity, so top work there. But Slijepcevic still controls things after clearing those first couple of corners. Swain putting that pressure on. We're going to have another instance, I believe, of fighting until the very end, which is fantastic news. If you're following along with us, thank you for watching in and tuning in.
Indeed. One of Grossman's had problems tonight. Just to note, he's off the lead lap right now. He's probably going to lose some positions in the championship standings after tonight. Still plenty to be decided, although it does look like right now Matt Swain is sealing the championship 3 rounds early. To put this into context of what Matt Swain has achieved so far this year, right now he's looking at a 210-point score out of 240, still potentially being a dropped score this season. That was from his first round of the campaign back at Navarra. That was the 3rd place of the Premiers on that night. That is astonishing. 210, 240, 228, 231, 220, 219, and currently on for 220 again. He's not had as many race wins, perhaps, as previous champions who've dominated this category. But it's been the sheer consistency, Reeve, that Swain's had that the others have not, that have put him in this imperious position.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that we were discussing earlier on about a P4 or a P5 being a bad or a less than ideal result for him, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? It has been a journey to the top for Matt Swain in this season so far, and I think he's looking to remain there in this race in particular as he continues that pressure on Slijepcevic. Now the sun begins to set here in Saxony over what has been a fantastic evening's worth of racing.
Has indeed. Of course, it carries on in 2 weeks' time at Bathurst. 2 weeks after that, the final MX5 round of the year at the Virginia International Raceway, which produced some good racing the last time we went there for a round of the BUKC iRACING Trophy a couple of years ago. And yeah, 3 more races to enjoy after this one in the MX5s for the 2025-2026 season. If you're on the Discord as well, do send us your ideas as well. Slijepcevic has run wide. That's the opportunity for Swain. Down the inside, reverse rolls from earlier on, although this is still going to be a little bit risky for Matt Swain. I don't know if he knows that this is actually still championship position. He doesn't need to win this race. That was a bit of a wide moment for Axel Slijepcevic. He will have the inside line for turn number 1, but again, it will flick back to the driver on the right-hand side. Matt Swain takes the lead. Takes the lead with just over 3 minutes of this one remaining. If it was ever in doubt, Matt Swain at the moment is on for 226. Is going to be clear of everybody else's max possible score by at least 11 points with 3 rounds remaining. What persistence from Matt Swain there, Reeve, to retake the lead of this race.
Absolutely. He didn't get too caught up in any type of, I don't know, upset from the previous overtake. He just kept his head down, waited for his opportunity, and is controlling things once again. Our 2 race leaders that we are looking at the moment, Slijepcevic obviously plenty of experience leading the racing this evening as well, have demonstrated that this evening. They've just got their head down. They seem really, they look like experienced drivers from a spectator's point of view as well, so they've put on a really good show this evening. But Slijepcevic is going to try and fight it back. A late move under braking down the inside is an opportunity that he's tried to seize upon earlier on in the evening. Hasn't quite worked out last time. Will it work out this time? His front axle is alongside Swain's rear, so he is closing up, and as we head towards the end of the lap, just 1 corner to negotiate. It all becomes a question of who gets the better run onto the start-finish straight. That sets you up nicely for turn 1. A little bit of a slipstream to play with here in these MX-5s. Let's see who wins out. Well, Spinell is closing up. He's under pressure from Roberts. Watch out for Saunders as well, who is a bit of an outside chance of a podium here if things go a certain way. But Swain still leads us as we head on to the next lap.
I think we're going to give drivers qualifying suspensions more often. because since we gave one to Sam, he's been absolutely superb. He's on for a second Clubman round win in a row here. And I mean that in jest, of course. I don't want to be giving people qualified suspensions, but or any penalties at all for that matter. But no, Sam has really, really stepped up since that probably down point of the season after last time out in these MX-5s at Zolder. This lap plus one more to go then. Matt Swain very much looking like that this is a bit of a victory drive now. It's probably not the calmest victory drive he's ever had in his time on iRacing, because he's still got Axel Slijepcevic buzzing around his rear axle. But into tonight, it was that question of the other drivers. Could they take the fight to Matt Swain? Could they force him into an error? He has been just the odd moment here and there, but by and large, no mistakes. No troubles, no spins, no crashes. That's what's put him in this position with 1 lap to go of sealing the title. Axel Slijepcevic is still giving it some here. At the moment, we'll try and do the maths. I think Axel Slijepcevic is still on for the round win, but he wants the race win here. That would definitely seal it up and done for Axel. Yeah, 2:28 at the moment would be Axel's score, so even with this second place, 4th, 1st and 1st would lose out to 1st, 2nd and 2nd for Matt Swain. But in a way, I'm sure the drivers are not trying to do, key stage 3 mathematics whilst they're driving round. They're focusing on the driving. That was another little bit of an error though from Slijepcevic, Reeve. Looks like Sam Spinell's going to have a chance here for second.
He could well do, and what a drive that will have been from the Clubman competitor. If that is the case, the back end kicks out on Slijepcevic's car just a tad there, doesn't lose too much speed as a result though. He has to watch out to Spinell, because Roberts has been hot on his heels for a little while in this race. Now hasn't found the opportunity to find a way past just yet, but might be looking to do so. Slijepcevic then is going to be a little bit too far back to try anything down the inside here into the shell curve, but might just be settling into that second position for the time being.
But here it is then. Matt Swain has got the gap now. He just needs to thread it through the last 2 corners. He's going to take another race victory. But more significantly, by our calculations, this is going to secure Matt Swain the championship. Oh, Tom Saunders has spun in the background. He's going to lose a top 5. Matt Swain wins at OSCHERSLEBEN and becomes 2025-2026 Club 100 iRacing Premier Champion. He has done it at the earliest possible opportunity. What a performance. He will take the prize drive in a race day for the SP40 North or Club 100 Experience Championship in the coming new season. Rethink Racing have been waiting a long time for this. They have been putting a good number of drivers into this championship for a good few seasons. They have found their man. Matthew Swain has taken control of this championship from everybody else. He does it in style as well. He wins race 3.
Congratulations, Matt Swain. What an impressive run, as you say. Earliest opportunity that he could have done it. And I'm also seeing congratulations pouring in from other drivers as well, which is great to see. I think everyone recognising what an achievement it has been. But what a great evening's worth of racing.
Absolutely. We'll get the full result in. Gotta say that everyone's come pretty much across the line very, very quickly in this one. But as soon as we've got the last few cars across the line, here's a good fight. This is the last fight of the race between Matt Hale and Simon Delamere. I think going to give it a photo finish over the line. Simon Delamere just gets ahead of Matt Hale there for 22nd position. Let's bring you the result then from P1, Andrew. Let's get this right. For Matt Swain, who wins it by 0.4 of a second. I think OSCHERSLEBEN has really delivered tonight here, Reeve. Some really close racing once again, as we've come to expect with the MX-5 over the years. Matt Swain takes it from Axel Slijepcevic, Sam Spinell. That's a really powerful result, I think, Reeve. Has taken Clubman by storm in this one, and especially with that little spin for Tom Saunders. Yes, he came home P7 in that last race. That will work out how much of a step it is. But Sam's quest for winning the Clubman title is very much back on, is it not?
It is indeed. It's this phase of the season. It's evenings like this rather that do make all the difference. Though, if you can grasp onto those last opportunities to bring yourself back into contention, well, only a really strong drive can do that, and that's exactly what Sam Spinell has done. So well done to Sam Flapp. Sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. Reading down the rest of the order, Tom Roberts P4 in that one. Another strong result. Whilst we reckon that the Premier title may be gone, there's still going to be a really good fight, I think, for second place, which is worth a good number of iRacing dollars. I want to say more than the entry fee, so you get something out of it. At least versus what you put in. Cam Watson P5, Adam Brown P6, Tom Saunders, James Havland, Andy Alston. Good recovery there from Andy Alston. Again, a little bit of a head scratcher as to where Andy's pace was in the first two races, but it clearly came back to him in the third. Fought back into the top 10. Max Andrews completes that top 10. Does move forward from where he started by 2 positions, but unfortunately he actually needed a lot more, apologies, than the scores that are set were saying earlier on. Even when he was around the kind of 7th, 8th position, that was still going to be a drop. It was almost one of those he needed to get a long way up the order to get out of drop territory. But either way, it's a bit of a moot point now. 10th place will still give him a chance of securing 2nd place in the championship with 3 rounds to go. But not the night that the Englishman would have wanted. Tim Ellis quietly got on with his work tonight as well. P11. We must give Tim more coverage next time because he's been really solid with his results in recent weeks. Jack Air P12, Lawrence Vines P13 and Murray Adams P14. David Whitehouse, apologies David, you went completely under the radar in that race and took the win in the intermediate, but it's very much those 3, Whitehouse, AD, Shawnee. It's those 3 narrowing in for the championship fight in the intermediate ranks. Sean Patterson gets a win as well, a race win in the rookie class. Good to see. Second page, Tom Holland. That's got to be one of Tom Holland's best results in his CLUB100 iRacing career. P19 for the Warwick driver tonight. Yusuf bin Sahel completes that top 20. Also on the lead lap were Eric Mignon, Simon Delamere and Matt Hale. Difficulties in that race for Dan Cook, although I still think Daniel will hold the lead in rookie points at the end of the night. James Fremont, Atty Cooper, really tough night for Ronald Grossman. Not at the races in terms of results at all, and well, I say he probably dropped down the championship order after that one. Hassan Iqbal, 28th, but did have a race win in the class earlier on this evening. Joao Castro, the season goes from bad to worse, I'm afraid. P29 in that one. Craig Brown was the last of those who started. Sam Sanders had technical hardware issues at the start of the evening in race 1 that put pay to his racing here tonight. Wow. Well, there we go then. That was round 7 of the championship. We will be back in 2 weeks' time, of course, at one of my favourite circuits in the world, but I know there's some drivers out there a little bit apprehensive about this choice. But we put it in the latter part of the season, but not right at the end of the season for simple reasons. We want to have good racing round Mount Panorama. They've all got themselves into the gear of things now, but it's not absolute end of season title fight. So the ingredients are there, Reeve, for us clean and as non-dramatic an evening of racing round the mountain as we possibly can. I still think we've been a bit brave putting Bathurst in for round 8, though.
It's going. I'm looking forward to that one. It must be said. It's going to be interesting, and I think we'll probably need the Strepsils.
Well, we will indeed. Indeed. So 2 weeks' time, say every other Tuesday is the run for this championship. Good luck to anyone taking part in the Daytona 24-hour special event. Because if I've got my calendars right, that happens before we have our next round of this championship. Also shout out to anyone who is at Shennington this weekend on Sunday in real life. DDMM commentaries for 2026 begin. The 2025 season formally ended for us as an organisation Saturday night. We've had a whole 8 days off before 2026 season formally starts, and it's a live broadcast round as well by our good friends at Alpha Live. As we say, keep an eye on the socials. CLUB100 broadcast schedule coming soon, and more to come across the course of this new calendar year. Reeve, any last thoughts before we check off for tonight?
Just to say, what a return back to CLUB100 iRACING action. That was a really enjoyable evening's worth of racing here at OSCHERSLEBEN. Looking forward very much to the upcoming rounds. The last time, of course, we'll see the MX-5 out on track at Virginia in about a month's time, and obviously the upcoming GT rounds as well. Got it all to play for at some interesting tracks, so it should be a good one. Do make sure you stay tuned, folks, and thank you for watching.
So there we go then. We think we know where the championship is going, but still more classes to be decided, still more bits of the prize pot to be decided. 3 more rounds: Bathurst, Virginia International Raceway, and then Road Atlanta. 3 very different circuits for a very different championship. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. If you've enjoyed the broadcast, do give it a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been the Double Dash Motorsport Media YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time in Bathurst. Bye-bye.